Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about 8 playthroughs of the Outer Worlds. Now I do have a video where I talk about playtesting the Outer Worlds, and I say I did it 16 times, and I give a very high-level overview of the playthroughs I did. I was digging through archives, and I found much more detail on the first 8 playthroughs I did. So if this seems familiar, I'll link the other video below, which is a very high level. But I'm going to actually read what I wrote for that. Also, when I'm done, I found a list of purchase requests. It was a document I kept every time somebody asked me to buy something on the team, on the Outer Worlds team. I wrote it down. Whether it was unusual or silly, although some of them, they really meant it. I'll do that at the end for funsies. So, this is a Friday Fun Day video. Let's do it. Okay, so I found a document. It's called 8 Playthroughs. As of this morning, June 11th, 2019, I finished playing through the game a total of 8 times with 8 very different characters designed to test different aspects of the game. All the playthroughs were quite fun, and I thought it would be educational to keep notes, and here are some of the highlights. Unless mentioned in each playthrough, all of these playthroughs are Pro Phineas and on the normal difficulty mode, as opposed to playing Pro Board or being in story mode, easy mode, or hard or Supernova. I did have a few that have it, and I will call it out when I get to them. So, first build. Sneaky McKill was his name. He was a sniper hybrid playstyle, and I tagged the skill categories ranged and stealth. This character is how I play most RPGs, specializing in ranged attacks and stealth. I like to kill from a distance and withdraw if I get overwhelmed. Of course, I perked headshots and kept a modded, tinkered Deadeye rifle on my person at all times. I used companions mainly to keep enemies from swarming me, so I could continue to pick them off from a distance. I completed almost every quest using combat, unless I could see an obvious stealth solution. This was a very satisfying playthrough. The next one. What's up, dude? He was a generalist. What skills did I tag? Irrelevant. And also I don't remember. I spent my points evenly on this build on every skill on this character. So at level 30, every skill was between 50 and 60. The first half of the game was super fun because I could complete almost any quest in any style I wanted. Fighting, sneaking, talking, leadership, using companions. Often, to do this just required a swap of companions to change skill. Gradually, though, things got harder, and I found the endgame to be very, very hard with this character. P.S. I named him What's Up Dude so that NPCs would greet him with, "Hello, what's up, dude?" which was fun. The third test, named Snuggler. He was a pure dialogue. I tagged dialogue and then ranged. I wanted to try a character who could fast talk his way through everything, and his name was supposed to be Smuggler, but I mistyped it and just kept Snuggler. I tagged range as a backup skill in case talking failed. He was fun, but I found myself falling back on combat much more than I would have preferred. This was the only character who did the pro board path, and while I was surprised at how heroic I felt doing it, my companion Felix often called me out on how I was behaving. However, my high dialogue skills kept him around, and as well as many of my companions, although he and all the other companions fared very badly in the end slides. I also had to kill Phineas at the end, which made me sad. The next build, Butch McSpy. He was a test of melee and also super dumb character. I tagged melee and defense. I will start by saying I'm not a fan of melee combat, but I wanted to make sure you could finish our game with only melee, with defense skills as well to keep me alive. I found myself dependent on my companions a lot, especially in areas with lots of enemies at different heights or distances, such as Devil's Peak on Monarch or the Pit on Tartarus. I also made this character below average in intelligence so I could see dumb dialogue. And yes, towards the end, I jumped the hope into the sun just because I could. Since this was a melee character, I never used ammo. This meant ammo was just extra money for me. I found that I could bribe people readily with this character, and I could also buy the Monarch nav key with very little difficulty. This was probably my least favorite playthrough, though, just because playing with only melee weapons felt really restrictive. My next character was Dr. Leader. He was to test science and companions. I also gave him a very low dexterity. I tagged Tech and Leader skill categories. This character used science weapons and companions in battles, and he fought a lot, having little skill in sneak or talk. I think this was the most fun I had of any of my playthroughs, because the science weapons had weird effects in combat, and my high leader skills made my companions super powerful. I took a below average dexterity because that stat was not needed for any tech or any leadership skill. The low dexterity meant my weapons broke faster, so I spent a lot of time, money, and parts fixing my breaking science weapons. Luckily, getting science higher also raised engineering, which improved my repair skill. Note that due to a bug, Dr. Leader had 4 flaws despite being on normal difficulty, which should have restricted him to 3. 2 of them were robophobia. Yes, he was offered it twice and took it twice, and yes, it seemed to stack. When robots were around, he sucked. In fact, the Warden bot at the end of the pit on Tartarus was the hardest fight of any playthrough of any build I made in the game. And Dr. Leader spent most of it hiding in a dark closet while Nyoka and Max took care of the Warden. The next character was Rango Mleader. I tested him on Supernova difficulty. I tagged ranged and leader skills categories. I tested Supernova difficulty mode with this character, and I made the character that I thought would be easiest to get through it. Range skills for killing at a distance, and leader skills for having powerful companions. However, because my companions could die for realsies, I found myself reloading whenever they did in case I needed them later. It was very hard to get Pavarti through Emerald Vale alive, and I played the ice station 5 times before I could get through it with no dead companions. I made sure to buy every perk and skill unlock that made my companions better, and that made my medical inhaler work on them better. I also modded and tinkered all of my weapons and armor, and all of my companions' items as well, at every opportunity. I needed to, for me and for them to survive. P.S. I'm not sure I would play Supernova again. I played it to prove I could do it, but that mode, just like Iron Man mode in my other game, The Temple of Elemental Evil, is just not for me. Next character, Eric DeMilt, named after the game's producer. I wanted to test what would happen if I killed everyone. No talking, no stealthing, just kill everyone. So I tagged melee and range, so I had every combat skill available to me. I wanted to try my hand at killing everyone in the game, and I was quite successful. No one was left alive in Edgewater, Roseway, or the streets of Byzantium, but I found the Groundbreaker too hard to kill, or too hard to clear out. I killed every companion before they could even join me or talk to me, so I got to test all the solo perks. I thought that Tartarus would be hard, and it was. But I killed the Warden bot very easily with a combination of extended tactical time dilation, enhanced weaponry, and weak point aiming. This, by the way, was the fastest playthrough I ever had. Most of my playthroughs took me between 15 and 22 hours. This one took 6.5. My next character was Sneaker Speaker. I went to go test story mode, the absolute easiest game mode. I tagged stealth and dialogue. This character was made to test story mode. I bought skills in stealth and dialogue, so I was terrible at combat. Without leader skills, my companions were mostly there to do extra damage and soak up bullets. But I talked my way through a lot of places, including using Persuade and Lie on McRed, so I didn't have to fight him to get all the radiator parts, or to convince him to pretend that I had killed him. When I couldn't talk my way past, I would sneak or pickpocket to finish the quest. The game felt great to play this way. I completed every companion quest, every faction quest, and almost every side quest. Even though Dr. Leader was the most fun playthrough overall, Sneaker Speaker was the most fun I ever had on Tartarus. Every faction except the board revered me and sent me help. So when I went to go play the prison, it was very easy. Instead of killing the Warden bot directly, I used Hack to disable his weapons and make the support drones attack him. Then I took over the colony, and in the end slides, I managed to make the CEO into my puppet in my new world order. So that was my 8 playthroughs. As a bonus, I found a document called Purchase Requests. And it says, things people on the Outer Worlds team asked me to buy during the making of the Outer Worlds. Now, I will tell you, I don't list who asked, and I don't give you any context. But here's the list. A pizza oven. A goat. A garden plot at the United States Antarctica Research Base. A chicken and a GoPro. This was a set. The island of St. Lucia. A pig wearing a mocap suit. A golf cart. A hat and a plasma cannon. Another set. A penguin. A cow. A cacao tree. A tank. A moose and a Volvo. Another set. A 3D chocolate printer. That might have been me. A wrecking ball. A life-sized chocolate coffin with gold foil wrap. An inflatable wavy arm dancer. And a laser, comma, a big fat laser. I have no idea what this list was. Anyway, hope you have a fun Friday.